apologize for the poor lighting, but I've been working on this XJ. New throttle body, new fuel pump, new O2 sensors, new map position sensor, throttle position sensor, air control sensor. And I still got a little bit of hesitation, a little bit of a miss inadvertently in this vehicle. I've done the distributor, the cap rotor, plugs, wires, what have you. So I've ruled it. It's either got to be a little bit of a fuel issue or a little bit of a vacuum leak somewhere that I need to identify. I haven't been able to identify vacuum leak yet by compartmentalizing it and trying to locate one. So it's time to check a little bit of fuel, hoping that it's probably my injectors that just need to be replaced. So here's what's going to help me do that. So I reached out to S Automotive Tools or Sunbright Tools and told them what I was trying to do on this Jeep here. So what I've got this master kit, more components than what I need to do, but as much as I work on vehicles and do stuff around here, it's definitely going to come in handy. So I've got my gauge, high quality, heavy duty gauge, bleeder valve setup, all the connections, everything that I would ever need. Took to the Strader valve. I can test compression leak down on the heads. I can check the fuel injectors independently. All kinds of stuff on this kit. You'll have to do a little bit of research and find out what application you need for your kit. I'm sure this will actually have it all, but using it for different processes to eliminate things, that's something that I'm not going to be well versed in. But what I'm going to use this for is I'm going to test my fuel pressure. There's a couple different ways that I'm going to do it with this kit. I have full confidence that this kit is going to help me diagnose the issues. And for this kit to be under $100, it's definitely something that I'm going to use numerous times, and it's going to pay for itself over and over by me being able to diagnose what I actually need to do instead of just buying parts and replacing them, hoping that that's it. So super excited to use this kit, get this thing running top notch, and you'll see it throughout this video. So the two ways that I'm going to check the fuel in this Jeep is, one, see if there's any bleed back into the tank, meaning if there's a issue somewhere in that line. I don't think there is, and the way that we're going to do that is this is your Strader valve right here. We are going to check that Strader valve with the vehicle running and with the vehicle off to see how much pressure bleed off that we have on that, right? So that if I can isolate that we've got pressure up to this point, then that means my pressure regulator unit's still good, and my fuel pump and actuator and all that stuff's still good. So that would mean that it would just be on further in the system, which would be my injectors, which is what I assume that it is, but I want to make sure. So that's what we're going to test, and hopefully this test goes just fine on the fuel off of the Strader on these two applications, which will let me know that I just need to go from fuel rail towards the engine as opposed to the ladder and trace this all the way back to the fuel line. I'll explain to you a couple ways that you can check that and how we're going to do the process. The first step that we're going to do is check it with the vehicle off. Okay, so what we're actually going to do here is we're going to open the Strader valve. I'm going to put the connections to the kit together and hook the gauge to it, and then we are actually going to jump the fuel pump relay so that it stays running. That way I have a constant pressure on here. So what I'll do is once I push that in, we'll see what type of pressure we're getting, and then we're going to leave it alone and see what it dies off to. That'll let us know if we have to bleed back into the tank or back into the system anywhere, or if it's moving forward. And then we'll do the same process with it running, just to see if there's any fluctuation in what the gauges read. So with the kit, what we're actually going to use, this will hook right up to my Strader valve, and this is a bleeder tube. So what we're going to do, and this is a bleeder valve right here. So what you're going to want to do is when you hook this up to fuel or whatever you're testing, you need some type of bottle that this can vent into. Because basically what will happen is when you hook this up, you may get a little bit of fluctuation in the gauge where it bounces back and forth because it's got air in the line. So if you push the bleeder valve right here, while you've got that, it'll force all the air and some of the fluid out of this hose. That way it gives you a true reading without it bouncing around. So you're definitely going to need some type of bottle, water bottle, 2-liter bottle, Gatorade bottle, something for this to go into. And it keeps from just spitting gas and stuff all over the ground, all over your vehicle, so on and so forth. But check your application to know what thread, what connector, whatever you need. This kit covers basically all of them. There's a couple kits that, there's a couple vehicles that this kit won't address, but it's listed on there. But you can look at it. I'll link the link in the subscription. Again, they have kits that are smaller. They have all types of kits. So really glad I found this company, S Automotive, and I'm definitely going to be using this stuff instead of second guessing and just switching parts moving forward. So let's get started on testing out this XJ. Alright, so you can see I pulled the cap off of the Schrader valve. You want to make sure it's still got the little rubber O-ring and grommet in there. And then what we're going to do is put a little rag down here, bleed off some of the pressure. You just basically push this little pin in right here, release some of the pressure that's in there. Then we're going to go over to our fuse box, and I'm going to show you how to jump that relay. And again, should be similar on most vehicles, but for sure this is on a 98 XJ Jeep Cherokee 4-liter inline 6. Alright, so the first test we're going to do, I got my gauge hooked up to the Schrader valve, and then I've got my bleeder tube going into the bottle. So the first test we're going to do is with the engine off. So what we're going to do is come over to the driver's side. We're going to pull the fuse panel open. This back relay right here is for your fuel pump. So what you're actually going to do is jump from this, and you can hear the fuel pump running now. You can see we're at 50 psi on the fuel pump right now. My apologies for that. It was kind of hard to hear or speak, I was up here trying to do that. So when I did it at the fuel pump with the vehicle off, with the relay jumped, staying right at 50 psi, which if you look at the manual, I believe it's supposed to be between 49 plus or minus 5. So we're right in line with that. With it running too, stayed about the same, and then shut it all off, and it held the pressure with very little droppage for 2 minutes. So pressure regulator valve, fuel pump, all that should be good. So that narrows down anything back towards the tank, which means I need to go forward, which is probably the fuel rail injectors. So getting this kit, which again has a lot more stuff in it than what I actually even know how to use. That quick, in a matter of a couple minutes, I was able to establish fuel pressure and eliminate 90% of the vehicle back. I've just got that 10% to go forward with, which I assumed it was injectors already, but I wanted to make sure. So again, I'm definitely going to post the link to this kit Very, very simple to use. Very durable. Very heavy, actually. Really good quality. Rubber coated. So I'm super excited with this. Got all the extensions. I tried a couple different extensions on here just to see which one I liked. The ones that fit work great. These are for different applications, but I'm sure it's got whatever tools you need in here. So definitely check it out. Look into it. I will be using this kit again. I'm going to test my injectors and also my compression bleed down, which I can do with this kit, and also test some vacuum stuff. I'm just running out of daylight today to do what I want to do, but the number one goal was accomplished, which is establishing that from the fuel rail, the Schrader valve back, I'm good to go. So I just got to go forward. So definitely, thanks for watching. Check it out. You'll see me put some injectors in here, and then we'll go from there. But again, S Automotive. Again, link will be in the comments, and check them out. Thanks again.